Take a moment to breathe with me. 4 slow, deep breaths. Feel the air entering your lungs. Pause gently, then let it flow out naturally. In this simple act of breathing, something extraordinary is happening that modern science is only beginning to understand. You are not just drawing oxygen into your body, you are participating in an ancient conversation between your individual awareness and the vast intelligence of the universe itself. Most of us live with the assumption that our mind resides somewhere inside our skull, trapped behind our eyes, looking out at a world that exists separate from us. We imagine thoughts as electrical impulses firing between neurons, consciousness as an emergent property of brain chemistry, and our sense of self as a biological accident in an indifferent cosmos. But what if this entire framework is not just incomplete, but fundamentally backwards? Consider this: when you experience a sunset, where does that experience actually take place? Your eyes detect photons of light, your optic nerve transmits signals, your brain processes visual information. But the golden beauty that floods your awareness, the sense of peace that washes over you, the feeling of connection to something infinite, where do these exist? Science can map every neural pathway involved in seeing, yet the actual experience of beauty remains mysteriously beyond the reach of any instrument or equation. This mystery points to something profound. The mind you experience is not contained within the boundaries of your skull. It extends far beyond the physical brain, reaching into dimensions of reality that transcend space and time as we commonly understand them. When you feel deeply moved by music, when intuition guides you toward a decision that logic cannot explain, when you sense the emotional state of someone you love before they speak a word, you are experiencing the boundless as nature of mind itself. The implications are staggering. If mind is not localized in the brain, then healing does not require fixing broken machinery inside your head. Transformation does not depend on changing brain chemistry through pharmaceutical intervention alone. Peace does not emerge from managing thoughts, but from recognizing the vast awareness in which all thoughts arise and dissolve like waves on an ocean. This ocean of awareness is not something you possess, it is what you are. Consciousness is not produced by your brain. Your brain is an expression of consciousness. You are not a physical being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being temporarily expressing yourself through the beautiful complexity of human form. This is not metaphysical speculation. It is the most practical truth you can discover, because it changes everything about how healing, growth, and awakening become possible. Right now, as you read these words, you are experiencing pure awareness. Behind every thought, every sensation, every emotion, there is a witnessing presence that remains unchanged. This presence does not come and go. It does not improve or deteriorate. It simply is, timeless, boundless, infinitely creative. It is the source of all healing, all wisdom, all love. Every moment of genuine presence you cultivate, every choice you make from love rather than fear, every time you respond from wisdom rather than reactivity, you are contributing to the evolution of human consciousness itself. You are not just healing your own life, you are participating in the healing of our collective human story. You are not just finding your own peace, you are adding to the field of peace that makes it easier for others to discover their own inner stillness. The universe is awakening to itself through billions of individual perspectives, and your awakening matters more than you might imagine. When you recognize your true nature as consciousness itself, you become a beacon that reminds others of their own infinite potential. When you live from love rather than fear, you strengthen the field of love that supports all life. When you embody peace in the midst of chaos, you demonstrate that there is another way to be human. This is not spiritual bypassing or naive optimism. It is the most practical response to the challenges of our time. The problems we face as a species cannot be solved from the same level of consciousness that created them. They require a fundamental shift in how we understand ourselves and our relationship to life itself. They require the recognition that we are not separate beings competing for limited resources, but expressions of one consciousness collaborating in the endless creativity of existence. Your journey into the depths of your own being is simultaneously a journey into the heart of reality itself. As you discover the peace that is your true nature, you become an agent of peace in the world. As you experience the love that you are, you become a source of healing for all life. As you recognize the infinite creativity that flows through you, you become a conduit for solutions that serve the highest good of all. The invitation is always present to see through the illusion of separation that causes suffering, to remember the unity that has never been broken, to live from the love that is the very essence of existence. This remembering does not happen once and remain forever. It is a continuous returning, a moment-by-moment choice to align with truth rather than illusion, with love rather than fear, with unity rather than separation. Take a moment now to feel into the possibility that everything you have been seeking outside yourself has been waiting to be discovered within the infinite space of your own awareness. Feel into the possibility that your deepest healing, your greatest peace, your most authentic creativity, and your truest love are not achievements to be attained, but recognitions to be welcomed. Feel into the possibility that the very consciousness reading these words is the same consciousness that beats your heart, grows the flowers, spins the galaxies, and dreams the entire cosmos into existence. This is not belief, this is recognition. This is not philosophy, this is reality. This is not the end of seeking, this is the beginning of truly living. The universe is not something you are in, it is something you are. And in this recognition, everything becomes possible, everything becomes sacred, and everything becomes an expression of the infinite love that you have always been and will always be. The journey continues, but now you know you have never actually been traveling towards something distant. You have been discovering what was never lost, remembering what was never forgotten, becoming what you have always been. In every breath, in every heartbeat, in every moment of conscious awareness, the universe is awakening to itself as you. It is not separate from the universe. It is the universe becoming conscious of itself through your unique perspective. The ancient Vedic seers understood this truth thousands of years ago, calling it Brahman, the fundamental reality underlying all existence. They recognize that individual consciousness and cosmic consciousness are not two different things, but one seamless field of awareness expressing itself through countless forms. Modern quantum physics is rediscovering this same truth through a different language, revealing that the observer and the observed are intimately entangled in ways that defy our conventional understanding of separate objects existing in objective space. When you truly grasp this, everything shifts. Stress becomes not a reaction to external circumstances, but a temporary forgetting of your true nature. Illness becomes not just a malfunction of biological systems, but an opportunity for consciousness to re-establish harmony at every level of being. Relationships become not negotiations between separate selves, but celebrations of the one awareness, recognizing itself in different forms. This recognition is the foundation of all genuine healing and transformation. It explains why meditation can lower blood pressure, why gratitude practices can strengthen immune function, why loving relationships can literally change the expression of your genes. It reveals why intention and attention have measurable effects on physical reality, even at the quantum level. It illuminates how consciousness can reorganize matter, how awareness can restructure neural pathways, how love can transform the very cells of your body. But consciousness is not just a healing force. It is the creative principle from which all reality emerges. In the quantum field that underlies all physical existence, particles exist in a state of pure potential until the act of observation collapses that potential into specific measurable form. This is not merely a curious fact about subatomic physics, it is a window into how reality itself is constructed through the interaction of consciousness and the field of infinite possibility. Every moment your awareness is collapsing infinite potential into the specific experience you call your life. The quality of your attention, the clarity of your intention, the depth of your presence, these determine not just how you perceive reality, but how reality actually manifests around you. This is why two people can have completely different experiences of the same event. They are not just interpreting the same objective reality differently, they are literally participating in the creation of different realities through the unique qualities of their consciousness. The quantum field responds to consciousness not through mysterious magic, but through the precise mechanics of how information organizes itself at the most fundamental levels of existence. When you shift from fear to love, from scarcity to abundance, from separation to unity, you are not just changing your mental state, you are reorganizing the very field of energy and information that gives rise to your physical experience. This field is not separate from you. It is the ground of your being. Every cell in your body is constantly exchanging energy and information with this quantum realm. Your DNA is not a fixed blueprint, but a dynamic antenna receiving and transmitting signals from the field of consciousness. Your nervous system is not an isolated biological computer, but an interface between the local experience of being human and the non-local intelligence of the cosmos. Through the lens of quantum understanding, your thoughts become not random electrical activity, but organized patterns of energy that ripple through the field of consciousness, influencing everything they touch. Your emotions become not mere chemical reactions, but vibrational signatures that broadcast your inner state to the unified field and attract experiences that match that frequency. Your intentions become not wishful thinking, but precise instructions to the intelligence that organizes reality at the deepest level. This is why ancient spiritual practices work. Meditation aligns you with the fundamental frequency of consciousness itself. Prayer becomes a technology for communicating with the intelligence of the universe. Compassion opens channels through which healing energy can flow. Gratitude attunes you to the abundance that is always present in the field of infinite potential. The more deeply you understand this, the more obvious it becomes that healing, transformation, and awakening are not achievements you must earn through struggle and effort. They are natural expressions of consciousness recognizing its own true nature. When you align with the field of infinite possibility, limitations begin to dissolve, not because you have overcome them, but because you remember they were never ultimately real. Your physical body, which appears so solid and substantial, is actually a river of energy and information flowing through the field of consciousness. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a distant star billions of years ago. Every molecule of water has journeyed through countless forms, clouds, oceans, other living beings, before arriving in this moment as part of your cellular structure. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your DNA, all of it is stardust temporarily organized into the exquisite pattern you call yourself. But what organizes this stardust into the miraculous complexity of a human body? What intelligence coordinates the 60 trillion cells that somehow know exactly how to function in perfect harmony without any conscious direction from your thinking mind? Your heart beats, your liver processes toxins, your immune system recognizes and responds to threats, your wounds heal themselves, all through an intelligence that far exceeds anything your rational mind could orchestrate. This intelligence is consciousness itself, expressing through the beautiful form of your physical being. Your body is not a machine that consciousness happens to inhabit temporarily. Your body is consciousness crystallized into matter, awareness made visible, the infinite intelligence of the universe experiencing itself through the miracle of human form. Every cell contains the blueprint not just for physical function, but for the cosmic intelligence that animates all life. This understanding transforms everything about how healing becomes possible. When you recognize your body as crystallized consciousness, you realize that physical symptoms are often messages from deeper levels of your being. Pain becomes not just a signal of tissue damage, but communication from aspects of your self-seeking integration and wholeness. Illness becomes not just biological malfunction, but an opportunity for consciousness to reorganize itself at every level: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Take a moment to feel your body from the inside. Place your hand on your heart and feel it beating. This rhythm began before you took your first breath and will continue until your last. What maintains this perfect timing? Notice your breathing, happening by itself without any effort from you. What intelligence coordinates the expansion and contraction of your lungs with the needs of every cell in your body? Feel the aliveness flowing through your arms, your legs, your torso, a subtle energy that is both personal and universal, individual and cosmic. The new science of epigenetics reveals that your genes are not your destiny, but rather a library of possibilities that consciousness can access and express based on your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and experiences. The same genetic code that predisposes you to illness can also activate pathways of healing and regeneration. Your consciousness literally rewrites the expression of your DNA through the quality of your inner life. This is not metaphysical speculation. It is measurable, reproducible science. Neuroplasticity demonstrates that your brain continuously reshapes itself based on your thoughts, emotions, and experiences throughout your entire life. The neural pathways that support fear and separation can be replaced by new networks that embody love, peace, and connection. Your nervous system is not fixed hardware, but living software that consciousness updates moment by moment through the choices you make about where to place your attention. The field of psychoneuroimmunology reveals the intricate connections between your thoughts, emotions, nervous system, and immune function. When you experience chronic stress, fear, or anger, your body produces inflammatory chemicals that suppress healing and accelerate aging. When you cultivate peace, gratitude, and love, your body produces healing hormones and neuropeptides that optimize every biological function. Your emotional state directly influences the genetic expression of every cell in your body. This is why meditation can reverse aging at the cellular level, why compassion practices can strengthen immune function, why forgiveness can literally heal your heart. Your body is not separate from your consciousness. It is consciousness expressing itself in physical form, and it responds instantly to shifts in your inner landscape. As you begin to embody this truth, you discover that your emotions are not random psychological reactions, but precise vibrational information flowing through the unified field of consciousness. Every feeling you experience is energy in motion, a specific frequency that communicates your inner state, not just to your own body, but to the larger field of awareness that connects all life. When you feel fear, your entire being contracts, Your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles tense, your heart rate increases. This vibrational signature broadcasts itself through the quantum field, attracting experiences that match its frequency. Fear literally pulls toward you the very circumstances you're afraid of, not through psychological attraction, but through the precise mechanics of how consciousness organizes reality. When you feel love, your entire being expands, your breathing deepens, your muscles relax, your heart opens. This vibrational signature also broadcasts through the field, attracting experiences of connection, beauty, and abundance. Love does not just change how you perceive reality, it changes the actual structure of reality around you by aligning you with the fundamental creative force of the universe. Emotions are not obstacles to spiritual growth. They are the language through which consciousness communicates with itself across all levels of existence. Anger carries information about boundaries that need attention. Sadness carries information about loss that requires integration. Joy carries information about your alignment with the flow of life itself. Fear carries information about attachments that may be limiting your freedom. The key is not to suppress, deny, or spiritually bypass your emotions, but to experience them fully while maintaining your connection to the witnessing awareness that observes all emotional states without being defined by any of them. Well, when you feel anger, you can experience the energy completely while knowing that you are not the anger. You are the consciousness in which anger arises and dissolves. When you feel sadness, you can honor the feeling fully while recognizing that you are not the sadness. You are the awareness that embraces all emotions with infinite compassion. This shift in perspective changes everything about how you relate to your emotional life. Instead of being driven unconsciously by emotional reactions, you become conscious of emotions as valuable information flowing through your system. Instead of identifying with temporary emotional states, you rest in the permanent peace of pure awareness. Instead of suppressing feelings that seem negative or clinging to feelings that seem positive, you learn to surf the waves of emotion while remaining anchored in the depths of your true nature. As you develop this capacity to witness your emotions without being overwhelmed by them, you begin to recognize that all emotional energy is ultimately neutral. It becomes positive or negative depending on how consciousness relates to it. Anger channeled through wisdom becomes the energy of transformation. Sadness embraced with compassion becomes the depth that allows greater love. Fear faced with courage becomes the excitement of growth and expansion. Notice right now what emotions are present in your body. Without judging them as good or bad, simply observe them as energy moving through the field of your awareness. Where do you feel these emotions in your body? What would happen if you welcomed them completely while simultaneously resting in the part of you that remains untouched by any emotional state? Through this practice of conscious feeling, your emotions become allies in your awakening rather than obstacles to overcome. They become the very energy that consciousness uses to know itself more fully, to love more deeply, to create more beautifully. They become the colors with which awareness paints the masterpiece of your human experience. And as you learn to dance with your emotions in this way, you begin to discover something even more profound. The vast stillness that underlies all movement, the infinite peace that contains all experiences, the eternal presence that witnesses every changing state without ever being changed by anything it observes. This is your true self, the part of you that has never been born and will never die, the consciousness that was here before your first thought and will remain after your last breath. This witnessing awareness is not something you achieve through spiritual practice. It is what you are before any practice begins. It is not a state you enter. It is the space in which all states arise and dissolve. It is not an experience you have. It is the one who experiences all experiences while remaining forever free from identification with any particular experience. Right now, even as you read these words, this witnessing presence is here. It is aware of the thoughts moving through your mind without being any of those thoughts. It observes the emotions flowing through your body without being any of those emotions. It notices the sensations appearing in your awareness without being limited by any of those sensations. It is the constant factor in all of your changing experiences, the one thing that has remained the same throughout your entire life. Every night when you sleep, your thoughts disappear, your emotions dissolve, your body becomes unconscious, yet you remain. Every morning when you wake, thoughts return, emotions arise, sensations reappear, yet the one who observes them is the same consciousness that was present before sleep. This witnessing awareness is your deepest identity, more intimate than your thoughts, more fundamental than your feelings, more essential than your body. When you recognize yourself as this witnessing presence, you discover that you have never actually been limited by any of the stories your mind tells about who you are. You are not your personal history, your professional identity, your family role, your personality traits, your strengths, your weaknesses, your successes, your failures. These are all experiences appearing in the space of your awareness, but they are not what you are. You are the space itself, infinite, eternal, unborn, undying, forever free. You are the consciousness in which the entire universe appears, the awareness through which the cosmos knows itself, the presence that allows everything to exist while remaining forever beyond the reach of anything that exists. This recognition does not diminish your humanity. It illuminates the divine nature of being human. You do not lose your personality. You discover the source from which all personalities emerge. You do not become detached from life. You become available for life to flow through you with unprecedented fullness and beauty. You do not transcend the world. You recognize the world as your own self appearing in countless forms. When you recognize yourself as the witnessing awareness behind all experience, you naturally begin to understand intention not as wishful thinking or mental effort, but as the fundamental force through which consciousness shapes reality. Intention is the bridge between the unmanifest field of infinite potential and the manifest world of form and experience. It is how the formless gives birth to form, how the eternal expresses itself in time, how the one becomes the many while remaining forever one. True intention arises not from the ego mind that wants to control outcomes, but from the deeper intelligence that knows exactly what serves the highest good of all. When your intentions emerge from this place of alignment with the unified field, they carry the power of the universe itself. They become not personal desires seeking fulfillment, but cosmic impulses seeking expression through your unique perspective and circumstances. The process of conscious intention begins with clarity, not just about what you want, but about why you want it and how it serves the evolution of consciousness through your life. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what do I truly desire? Beneath the surface wants and needs, beneath the conditioned responses and social expectations, what is the deeper calling of your soul? Feel into this question with your entire being, allowing the answer to emerge not from thinking, but from the wisdom of your heart. When intention becomes clear, it must be held lightly, like a seed planted in fertile soil. The gardener does not dig up the seed every day to check on its progress. She provides the right conditions and trusts the intelligence of life to bring forth the harvest in perfect timing. Your role is to plant the seed of clear intention in the field of consciousness, then maintain the inner conditions that allow it to manifest naturally. These conditions are attention, gratitude, and surrender. Attention keeps your consciousness aligned with your intention without forcing or manipulating. Gratitude opens the channels through which abundance flows by acknowledging that the universe is already providing everything needed for your highest good. Surrender releases attachment to specific outcomes, allowing consciousness to manifest your intention in ways that may exceed your limited imagination. The quantum field responds to intention not through magical thinking, but through the precise mechanism by which consciousness organizes energy and information. When you hold a clear intention from a place of alignment and trust, you create what physicists call a strange attractor, a pattern in the field that draws experiences, opportunities, and resources toward its fulfillment. This is why intention combined with detachment is so powerful. Attachment creates resistance in the field, while detachment allows the natural flow of creativity to organize reality around your deepest calling. Practice this now. Take 3 conscious breaths and allow a clear intention to arise from the depths of your being. Feel this intention not as something you want to get, but as something that wants to express itself through you. Notice how it feels when you hold this intention with gratitude for what is already present, combined with trust in the infinite intelligence that knows exactly how to bring it into form. In the space between intention and manifestation, there is profound silence, not the absence of sound, but the presence of pure awareness itself. This silence is not empty, it is pregnant with infinite possibility. It is the womb from which all creativity emerges, the source from which all healing flows, the ground in which all transformation takes root. Learning to access this silence consciously is perhaps the most practical skill you can develop for navigating life with grace and wisdom. Meditation is simply the practice of returning to this silence repeatedly until you recognize it as your natural state. It is not about stopping thoughts or achieving special experiences. It is about discovering the peace that is always present beneath the activity of the mind. Every time you notice you have been lost in thought and gently return your attention to the present moment, you are strengthening your capacity to rest in the healing power of silence. Begin with just a few minutes each day. Sit comfortably and focus on your breath, not to control it, but to use it as an anchor for your attention. When thoughts arise, and they will, simply notice them without judgment and return your focus to the rhythm of breathing. This simple practice gradually dissolves the accumulated stress and conditioning that obscure your natural state of peace and well-being. As your meditation practice deepens, you begin to access what the ancient traditions call the gap, the space between thoughts where pure awareness rests in itself. In this gap, healing happens spontaneously. Your nervous system resets itself. Your immune system optimizes its function. Your cellular regeneration accelerates. This is not mystical, it is measurable biology, responding to the profound rest that comes from touching your source. The silence you discover in meditation is not separate from the silence that pervades all existence. The space between your thoughts is the same space between the stars, the same space in which galaxies dance and subatomic particles play. When you rest in this silence, you are connecting with the very ground of being from which all of creation emerges moment by moment. From this foundation of inner silence, you begin to live differently. Instead of reacting unconsciously to external circumstances, you respond from the wisdom of the deeper self. Instead of seeking happiness in future achievements or external acquisitions, you discover the fulfillment that is always available in the present moment. Instead of identifying with the constant chatter of mental activity, you rest in the peace that surpasses all understanding. The present moment is not a location in time, it is the timeless awareness in which all time appears. When you truly arrive in the now, you discover that it is not a narrow slice between past and future, but an infinite expanse that contains all possibilities. The past exists only as memory arising in present awareness. The future exists only as imagination arising in present awareness. Reality is always now, and now is always infinite. Living from this recognition transforms even the most ordinary activities into expressions of cosmic consciousness. Washing dishes becomes a meditation on impermanence and renewal. Walking becomes a celebration of the earth supporting every step. Conversations become opportunities for the one consciousness to recognize itself through different forms. Work becomes service to the evolutionary impulse that seeks to create greater beauty, truth, and love in the world. This is not about perfection or maintaining some ideal spiritual state. It is about remembering again and again that this moment, exactly as it is the only place where life is actually happening. Your thoughts about the past are happening now. Your plans for the future are happening now. Your experience of inadequacy or spiritual achievement is happening now. The one who experiences all of this is the timeless presence that has never left, the eternal now. Practice bringing this quality of presence to whatever you are doing right now. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Sense the aliveness flowing through your body. Can you detect the subtle peace that underlies all activity? Can you feel the way that awareness itself remains unchanged even as experiences constantly change within it? As you cultivate this way of being, you begin to realize that spiritual awakening is not a future achievement but a present recognition. You are not becoming enlightened. You are recognizing the enlightenment that has always been your deepest nature. You are not attaining peace. You are acknowledging the peace that has never been disturbed by any experience. You are not finding God or unity or cosmic consciousness. You are discovering that what you have been seeking has been what you are all along. This recognition ripples out through every aspect of your life, transforming relationships, work, creativity, and service into expressions of awakened consciousness. You become a unique focal point through which the universe experiences itself, creates through itself, loves through itself, and awakens to itself. Your individual journey of healing and transformation becomes part of the larger awakening of consciousness that is happening throughout our world in this extraordinary time.